Hello, welcome to the Pitchy Podcast. We're your hosts, James
and Stephanie.
Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we are passionate about good music and a great vocal. We'll use the vehicle of NBC's The Voice to give you our take on each contestant. We'll give you our feedback on their voice and their overall performance. Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we'll keep it 100 with our feedback and critiques of each contestant's vocal and overall performance. But what we're not here to do is come for any contestant's character or anyone as a human being. While we may come off a little cheap at times, if you know what I mean, we'll always do our best to speak our truths with love, kindness, and respect. And with that, let's jump into night 3 of the Blinds for season 20. Boom! Stephanie.
Yes. I'm great. Quiet house. Kids are at school.
Hey.
I'm great.
Real people with real lives, as we always say.
Yes.
I am enjoying this fall, mid-Atlantic. There ain't nothing like the mid-Atlantic in the fall, with the crisp mornings and the warm afternoons, except the leaves have already started to fall in my yard, Stephanie.
Yes.
So I got appointments with my yard every weekend.
Yes.
You know, Stephanie, that ain't my jam.
I know.
But as a new homeowner, it's got to be my jam. So,
that's right.
Stephanie, last night we had an amazing, and I mean stacked evening with The Voice. Stephanie, I don't remember in recent Voice history where there were so many four-chair turns.
Yes.
There were a ton last night.
Yes.
Well deserving too, in my opinion.
Yes.
So I know we got a lot to talk about, so we don't want to tarry. We're going to jump right into last night's vocal. So,
all right.
Who we got first?
So first up was Stee. He's from Bluffton, South Carolina, and he sang Sugar by Maroon 5.
By way of the DMV, because I think he did say in his intro he was from Washington, D.C. And we got to give a shout out to the kind of local dude, because Stephanie and I live in the DMV area, so shout out to D.C., even though you do live in South Kakalaka.
Yes.
But Steve, okay, first of all, when I heard, this is one of those songs, Stephanie, where I was like, okay, because this is a song, in my opinion, and in your opinion, that has a very high level of difficulty. Don't do Adam Levine, number one, a former judge, a former coach of this show. And we always know that you got to come correct with it when you sing something from one of the coaches, or whether past or present, one of their repertoire. And this song is difficult because it's very rangy. Let me tell you about Stee. I thought this was an extremely powerful start to the night. I said, okay, if the night's going to go like this, it's going to be a very good night. And the night did go like this.
Yes.
Because let me tell you, Stee, what I loved about Stee, I said, wow. And I'm going to get equity, inclusion, diversity with it, you all. Stee was a Black man with an uber pop voice.
Yes.
And you just don't see that these days. And
that's right.
I love it.
Yes.
But I put great pop sound. I said, what made his sound so good and so poppy, because his effortless transition between his chest and his falsetto or head voice. I mean, I was angry because as a singer myself, I said, I know how difficult it is for me to make that sound easy, but he made it not only sound easy, he made it sound effortless.
Yeah.
I said easy, I said almost effortless. And what I loved about Stee, on top of his incredible vocal, incredible pop, with a little sprinkling of R&B vocal, just a tad. But the tone was pop 100%. And I love it that as an African-American, as a Black man, that's his sound, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I said the thing that I loved about him also was a great performer. And my theme for the night is the joy of singing.
Come on, Joy.
The joy of singing.
Come on, Joy.
Joy, not just with Stee. How much joy. I'm getting chills just thinking about it because Stephanie and I are so foundationally, like, we love singing and we love it so, like, it's our therapy, right? And it has lifted us up out of despair. It has something that we do when we're happy, something we do when we're sad, something we do when we're mad. It is medicine to our soul. And when you get a singer, like some of the singers, like a lot of the singers tonight, or last night, excuse me, there was just a joy of singing that I felt emanating from Stee. It was just pure joy is what I wrote. I mentioned this earlier. I said what I loved about his voice, it was pop with a slight soulful undertone.
Right.
I said, do not often expect from a singer of color, much less
Right.
a dude of color, because there's
That's
a
right.
lot of, there's the Corinne Bailey Rays, right? There are a lot of women of color that have a more poppy or alternative sound, but I wouldn't even give him alternative. It was just pop.
No, it was straight pop.
He could be in a boy band, right?
Yes.
He sounded like he could be in Maroon 5.
Yes.
And it wasn't rock. It
No.
was leaning more towards pop with a little sprinkling of R&B. And I put, finally, with Stee, I put so pure, so right.
Come on. Come on.
Stee was 100% a 4-chair turn.
Oh my goodness, 100%. I was like, what a way to start this show off.
Yeah.
What a way. Yes and amen to everything you said. I put studio quality R&B pop vocal.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right. It was so far more leaning towards pop with that sprinkling of R&B. Oh my God, PhD level song choice.
Yeah, it was crazy difficult. Just the level of difficulty, like you said, Stephanie, it's insane.
It really is, because you stay in your chest voice for so long, but then you transfer to your head voice for so long. And I also said, because y'all know, if you listen and watch, you know I am a stickler for breath support. Yeah. And the amount of breath support it took for him to not only execute this song at the expertise level that he did, but to also be performing too. Like, he was up there moving and grooving and jamming. It's like, this dude is joy. It was absolutely incredible. So I'm not going to belabor the point, because like I said before, I agree with everything that you said, James. His story, when he told his story about his cousin that had passed away, and how John's music had really gotten him through a lot of things, and how he was supposed to be there. Like, when you talk about joy, I could feel you felt something when he was performing.
John is usually very mild-mannered. You see, he got glassy-eyed. He got a little
joy. He did. And how could you not, when you hear how you have impacted somebody, and you could feel an energy and an extra dose of spirit on that stage when Steve was performing. And I believe that was the spirit of his cousin shining right through.
Yeah. I was like, Steve, if you are any indication of how talented your family is, I'd love to hear your sister too.
Come through, sister.
He's in. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Stephanie. Did he say that his family owned that restaurant / cabaret?
I think so. Yes, I think so.
And he and his sister sing there, like you said, Stephanie, seasoned performer. Like this, you could tell this guy was a pro, and just was so comfortable. And another thing, you all, singers, really go back and watch Stee and look at everything about his performance was genuine, 100%, never put on. He performed, and it was genuine.
Come on.
And joy. It was nothing but joy that came off of that young man.
Yes.
I see him going very deep in this competition.
Yes.
So, who do we have next? Because, oh gosh, it doesn't stop.
Well, we got to say who he went with.
Oh, of course. Oh.
Might be a little obvious.
Yeah.
And John was like, yo, if you did not pick me, then we would have had a problem. He went with Coach John.
Our feelings, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, so Team Legend, huge pickup for Team Legend. But
huge.
As I always say that Legend and Clarkson teams are always deep.
Deep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
awesome. Okay, great. So who is next?
Up next was Chechi Sarai. She is from Los Angeles, California, and I think by way of Michigan. And she sang Lovin' You by the Minnie Ripperton. Woo!
D.
The.
This was our leak. This was
Yes.
our last Friday leak. And it's interesting. Stephanie sent me this, as she always often does, the leak. And the leak that she sent me was not the entire performance. It was only a portion of it. And I said, okay. I said, very nice voice. Oh, we can't forget, she is first generation Nigerian American. We cannot forget that. Shout out to the Nigerians who check in.
Yes.
And she was wanted to make that abundantly clear about how proud of as she is of her heritage. So I put about Chechi. I said, you know what? I said, from hearing the clip before, I didn't go onto YouTube to listen to the entire audition.
Right.
So actually, I watched it last night. I said, she's a pro. I said, so I'm going to be harder on Chechi because to me, Chechi, like, she had the look. She had the, as they said, she had the outfit.
Yes.
She had the just presence. She had ease. Another joy of singing. At first, I didn't know. I thought maybe it was a little affected, but no. To get her backstory and to get, who she was and she went to school to be a doctor, as a lot of Nigerians have to. A lot of folks from West African nations, their parents expect them to be doctors, right?
Yes.
It's cultural. It was so interesting to see the genuineness that came from her backstory.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be a little bit harder on Chechi. I said, Chechi, I loved what you did. Your voice is second to none. You probably have the most professional sounding voice on this show. I said, but don't give them too much, sis. I said, because I put your voce, which is Italian for voice. I said, your voce is phenomenal enough.
Right.
Save it. I want you to wow them because I want someone like Chechi to win this show, who just needs that platform like The Voice to catapult her career.
Right.
And the joy of singing. I said, one thing about Chechi is that because she had the nerve, Stephanie, to open up with the whistle.
Come on.
She opened up, you all, with that whistle tone, that thing that I attempted to do in the intro of today's episode. She opened up with the Mariah Carey notes, as we call them.
Yes.
I said, she had such control of her voice. I said, And I put this, Stephanie, I said, I wonder if Chechi can belt. It was so controlled in a good way, not in a bad way. It was so intimate. Even after she came out of her whistle, it was almost a whisper. And that's what I'm so glad I went and listened to it, the full interpretation of where she was coming from.
Right.
Chechi got the note. If you all are not familiar with the origins of this song, people thought this was a love song, but no, it was a lullaby. The famous comedian Maya Rudolph is the daughter of Minnie Ripperton, right?
Yeah.
So she wrote this song. They wrote this song as a soothing lullaby to Maya. And if you hear at the very end of this recording of this song, she says, I love you, Maya, 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 I love you. And Minnie died very young. For those of you who do not know, check her out. She's one of the greatest singers of all time. Not just R&B singer. She's one of the greatest singers of all time, who was taken from us and ravaged by breast cancer in her early 30s. So I thought Chechi sang it like a lullaby because it was so sweet, so delicate, so intimate.
There you go. Yes.
Intimate. I said, because her control was bananas.
Yeah.
Gwen said something so true. Gwen gave a great note to Chechi. She said, she said, if you choose me, I think I'm paraphrasing, but she said, if you choose me, I'm going to have you get in touch with who you are even more, because it's going to take your voice to that stratospheric next level.
Yes.
Because your voice is already there.
Yes.
Like, you're already a pro. You're already ready for the big time or the spotlight or whatever. She said, but I want you to get even more in touch with who you are.
Right.
Do you want to say something to that, Stephanie?
Yeah, that was a big note that I had. I love that that's what Gwen said, because she said that Chechi's voice is so professional and such on a high level that sometimes us as the viewers can feel like she's not attainable as a person.
Yes.
So Gwen said that she wanted to bring out a little bit more of her, like herself and her personality, which I thought that the B-roll did an excellent job of displaying her as a person. Okay. And so I hope that Gwen, who I will spoiler is her coach, right, will bring that out, because if you have the voice that she has along with this human quality that she possesses, she's going to be unstoppable.
Like a little bit more Stee, right? Like Stee, his human quality, like he's already arrived in that human quality. Right. And to me, like Chechi needs a little bit more Stee. Stee needs a little bit more Chechi. Like if you combine the two of them, you have an unstoppable supernova of a singer that you just couldn't stop, right?
Right.
Both Stee and Chechi are undeniable.
Absolutely.
And I said, who does Chechi's voice remind me of? I'm about to blow your mind with this one. Chechi reminds me of an early 90s singer who was huge in the early 90s, and she reminds me of Shanice. Think about Shanice's voice. It's because Shanice had that whistle, right? Like a lot of people didn't know she had crazy whistle. But that's why I want to know, can Chechi belt? Because
and that brightness. But there were moments within that song where she gave us a little chest voice belt. And it surprised me because all the rest of the song were the words that you used. Very vulnerable, very delicate. But there were parts where she gave us a little bit that showed me that she has that in her. Oh, that's good. That's good.
I didn't hear it as much, so I'm glad you picked up on it. And that's why y'all, we're partners, because sometimes I'll hear something, Stephanie, and vice versa. But I've not heard a voice like Shanice. Shanice has a one-in-a-kind voice. And Shanice was kind of a wunderkind, meaning she's a prodigy.
Right.
She came out when she was very young, and her voice was insane at a very young age. And she had a huge hit in I Love Your Smile in the early 90s.
Yes.
And that's who her voice reminds. I was like, who does she remind me of? It's Shanice.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Very good.
I know we've kind of volleyed back and forth, but I can't wait to hear what you think about Chechi.
Yeah, I said basically everything within our conversation that I had to say. The only other thing that I wanted to say is that John pointed out that with this song, and I think we had this conversation online, this song is kind of like a one-trick pony song. It's almost like a showy-offy song, because if you don't have the whistle, like, you need not do the song.
Everyone expects it, right?
Everyone expects it, but also it's a very kind of showy offy song, because you have to be able to do the whistle in order to do the song. So like John said, it was cool to see that she could sing the song, differentiate the melodies a little bit, give that whistle at the top, give the whistle in the middle, give it at the end the way she did, but also show other layers to her voice, and also show a more delicate and vulnerable side. Because it's really easy to slip into being kind of arrogant when you sing the song, because you have to have almost a little sense of arrogance.
Here it comes.
Yeah, you almost have to have that. But I'm so glad that with watching the B-roll and watching the full performance, that I was left feeling like, I really like this girl and she can really sing. So
very likable.
Yes, absolutely.
So to your point, Gwen, I thought that was a brilliant choice. I thought that was not only brilliant, meaning I think her and Gwen are going to really go far, but I think it was very strategically Chechi, a very good choice that you chose Gwen as your coach, because you're going to
Totally.
stand out.
Totally.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, great. Woo! Who's next? It don't stop, Steph. It don't.
No, it doesn't. Next was Reid Zingale, 27 years old, from Nashville, Tennessee, and he sang July by Noah Cyrus.
Wow. I said, Reid, you have a scary good voice.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna need a little bit more connection because you look a little scared. It didn't. The thing was, Reid, though, it didn't come out in the voice. The voice was not scared at all. The
Right.
voice had us transfixed because it was such a unique sound.
Yeah.
I said I really liked, especially the edgy part of his voice. So I'm gonna need the personality or the performance in the personality, because you can be whoever you are off the stage.
Yeah.
And in the performance to be a little bit more edgy.
Yes.
I love the uniqueness of this voice. I said he sounds like a 90s indie rocker, but he has his own sound.
Yeah.
So the performance needs to match the amazing tone and sound. But I believe Stephanie and I had a little bit of discussion on Reid, because I was like, oh, I'm a little perplexed with Reid. I don't know where to go with him. And Stephanie brought up a really good point. I don't want to steal your thunder, but I'm going to a little bit. She brought up a really good point last night when we were talking, and she said, James, I think that Reid can really grow into the performance, which I 100% agree with you. I said, not only does he have an alt indie rocker sound, I said it was a very youthful, young, right?
Yes.
But not immature.
No.
Youthful.
Yeah.
Like the not, I don't want to say so much youthful angst, but it was just a youthful brightness to the tone.
Yes.
I said I hear a little Joni Mitchell in his vibrato. Right? And I said, this is why I'm going to blow Stephanie's mind with this last comment, because I heard it this morning when I went back and put it in my good ears. I said Reid could be, and I think will be, the Jaden Luke of this season.
Jaden!
He will. He will be the Jaden Luke of this season, because it's that type of voice where you like sit up in your seat. You're like, oh, we haven't heard this before, ever. We haven't heard this sound, ever. And the fact that he just got into singing at so late in his game. Like, I played soccer. I was a big soccer player. I went to college and just fell in love. And you can see, again, the joy of singing, you all.
That's right.
He talked about it, the passion that he had. And talking about it. I said, oh no, this guy's got passion. He's got everything that I'm looking for. I just think it needs to come out more in his performance. But I think he's a sleeper, Steph.
I 100% agree. Like, I heard really great emotion in his voice as he was singing. He has that singer-songwriter, storyteller quality in his voice, with this most interesting mix that, like you said, I have never in my life heard a voice like his. And I was trying to figure out who he sounded like. Jaden Luke is a perfect comparison. That's about as close as I'd ever come.
But that vibe, that same vibe.
Yes, the same vibe. He's got the rock in his voice. He's got the pop in his voice. He's got some grit, which I was not expecting. That kind of came out in the end. But like you said, I wrote down this young, innocent, powerful tone. Yes. Like, it was the coolest combination. And that is why they turned for him, because I could see that their eyes light up when they heard him. They were like, what is this? It was really, really, really cool. And like we talked offline, and like you just mentioned, the voice in and of itself, the vehicle of the voice, is a PhD master's level in performing. Like, you can't help but get better as a performer in that arena. So I'm really, really interested to see and excited to see how Reid is going to grow in this competition.
And Reid, if you are going to watch the podcast or listen to the podcast, the reason why Stephanie and I are saying this is because you are a voice that can't get lost in the voices, right? You can't. Number one, your voice won't let you get lost, but we don't want it to get lost because of people not seeing more of a personality when you sing.
Right.
because you're someone who needs to go deep into this conversation, this competition, because we were heartbroken when Jaden Luke didn't get picked up.
That's right.
Heartbroken.
Yes.
Because we thought he had one of the best voices of that season. So
That's right. That's right.
That's why we're saying that. We're like, okay, I know it's already taped and I know it's already been done for these rounds. So you're like, it's in the bag, but I pray that he gets moved on because that voice needs to stay in the competition.
1000%.
And the conversation.
Yes.
All right, great. So I can't remember, who did Reid go with, Stephanie?
Reid went with Niall.
Great. But Niall's going to be perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. What the judge was now, and again, through us talking to previous contestants from Niall's inaugural season, said that he was one of the greatest judges because Niall truly took the time.
Yes.
With his artist. He really took the time. And I forgot who told us, Stephanie. They were like, yo, Niall would like text me and be like, oh, I got an idea. Like, I was getting a text from a guy who was in one of the biggest boy bands of all time.
That's right.
Crazy. Like, it's like, oh, I got an idea. Like, yeah. So I think Reid and Niall, that's a wonderful matchup.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, great. Who is next?
So next up was Claudia B, 24 years old, originally from Washington, D.C., recently moved to Nashville, also by way of Berkeley College. And she sang Human Nature by the Michael Jackson.
Woo, Claudia B. Okay, first of all, I did not catch it. She is a DMV girl. I did not catch that. Ooh,
yes.
Claudia, come on the show. We want to talk to you. We want to know where you're from. Unless you're from, I mean, not many people are from Washington, D.C. proper. They're usually from Northern Virginia or Maryland or the whole D.C. area. Mm-hmm. But, okay, Claudia. First of all, that was another one like the Maroon 5. When I heard Human Nature, I was like, it's hallowed ground. Yes. Claudia, obviously, you went to Berkeley College of Music, so you know how Michael Jackson is hallowed ground. And all I'm going to say is this. Claudia, you are one I discussed with Stephanie the most last night. I said, because number one, it was a bold choice to choose in nature. And Claudia, this is what I'm going to say. And I know that you're blind. As Stephanie and I are both singers, and we know how in our heads we get, especially when we don't give the performance that we want to give. The scary thing about you, Claudia, is your performance was good enough to get chair turns, multiple chair turns. So Stephanie made up a really good point last night where she said, I need to hear more because I have a feeling that when Claudia is not spooked, and that's kind of what happened for those of you that did not see, Claudia was singing, y'all, like, and then the chairs turned and she got kind of spooked. Like she was like, but I love Reba, and I'm jumping around a bit, but I love Reba said, I kind of liked it. I kind of liked that. And again, the joy of singing. Claudia, I don't think Claudia thought that people would turn around, or she was almost shocked that they turned around. It was so genuine. Like Reba, that's the thing I love about Reba being a judge this year. Reba is such a genuine person, and that's why people like her. Reba's like, I loved it. I love that you got caught up. Like, I love that you got spooked. Because this is the biggest platform in most of these people's lives. So she got caught up in the moment. But Claudia, let's get down to the singing. Girlfriend, the slight changes of melody that you did to this iconic song were ridiculous. And it was so subtle and it was so slight. Yeah. It was so slight that you were being 100% respectful of this song that we believe is hallowed ground.
Yes.
And Stephanie and I both, we need to hear more and can't wait to hear more because we are both very intrigued. Extremely intrigued. Like, girlfriend, if I and Stephanie think and hear what we think we heard out of what this voice is and what your voice is and what your voice can do, and you have the nerve to be a pianist too.
Come on.
Niall brought up the best point where he said, I can tell that you play piano. He said, because the things that you hear, the choices, as Stephanie always says, the choices you made were, those were instrumentalist choices, because you heard the harmonies that you hear, where every note was not the melody to the song, but it fit right in harmonically, and it was scary. I am very intrigued by you, Claudia B, and you were what the Pitchy podcast talked about a lot last night. Stephanie?
Listen, I love the point that you just made about Niall, and I love Niall Horan.
Yeah.
Not as a artist or anything like I appreciate him as an artist, but as a coach, like I feel like James, me and him could sit and talk for hours.
Yes.
We could sit and talk for hours.
The mechanics, the just song choice.
Yes.
Niall's just knowledge.
Niall is knowledge.
Right?
Like straight up. And he has that joy as well.
He's
yes.
young.
Yes.
I felt that Camila, I felt like she had the knowledge too. Like,
oh yeah,
to be such a young artist. I love,
absolutely,
love. I'm sorry, I don't want to take it.
That's okay. Listen, I believe it is at the 20-second mark that she did this run at the end of the verse that I have listened to 4 times over. Because that's how much I loved it. And that is exactly when everybody turned. And that's when, if I was a coach, I would have pushed my button too. Because as I believe it was Niall, it was either Niall or somebody else. It would make sense for it to be Niall. But he said, you have a musician's ear. And it would take a musician's ear to do the run that she did and execute it the way that she did. And it made sense. Like, I was like, I would have never thought to do that, but it made so much sense. So yeah, she got a little freaked out in the middle. I loved it as well because it's so human nature. Like, it's so human. It was such a human moment, and it was such a humble moment to be like, they turned for me. Oh my gosh. Like, and then, what happened next?
There was no put on, right?
It was not a put on. It was so endearing, really. But those first 20, 25 seconds, I was like, this girl is singing this song down. And I just need more. I need a do-over. I need more. I can't wait to see her in the next round because she is going to be brilliant. She's going to be brilliant.
I'm terrified whoever's going to battle.
Oh, I know. Yeah, absolutely.
In the best way. Because it's going to be fire. If Claudia B, if you do what Stephanie and I heard, y'all watch out.
Watch out.
We're going to be on the ground.
That's right. That's right.
Who did she go with, Stephanie?
She went with Coach John.
Woo! John Legend is going to have, just because these are 2 piano, vocal piano could go. Are strong on both avenues.
Yeah.
Legend is going. I have a feeling they're just going to sit in the studio when they have one-on-one, and they're just going to duel and sing, and it's going to be crazy.
That's right.
It's going to be crazy.
That's right.
She's
absolutely.
a working musician, you all.
Yes.
Working musician in Nashville. So you already know that she probably has a library of just a plethora of songs ready to go.
Absolutely.
So I think with Claudia B, a big thing for her, I'm really also going to look for Stephanie a song choice. I'm worried about her song choice. I think her song choices are going to be great. I'm excited to see what song she chooses.
100%.
Right? And we always know that kind of like it not necessarily is 100% their choice, but I have a feeling that she is so deep, like kind of like Clark Beckham. Like she's such a deep library that whatever they throw at her, it's going to be crazy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Awesome. Ooh, okay. Who's next?
Next is Mac Royals, 30 years old, from Wrightsville, Arkansas, singing Gravity by John Mayer. Oh, Lord.
And I get chills before I say what I'm about to say, and this is no hyperbole. He is the best singer of the season thus far. Point blank, period. Mac is my front runner. He is my front runner for so many reasons. I said, in the cut. That was the first thing I wrote about him. I said, sing, sir. And then I said, damn. And I'm sorry. I said, just take your damn time, boy. And I said, and I'm sorry, you all. I know this is a family show, but it was one of those singing songs. Like, you just gotta cuss sometimes when you hear that type of singing.
You cussing and I'm worshiping. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Y'all remember one of our favorite singers of last season, Jamar, battled with this song, and this is where we were like, with Jamar, right? Who did Jamar battle, Stephanie?
Mariah Kalia, I believe.
Right, exactly. And it was just fire.
Mm-hmm.
I said, this dude, y'all, it was so special that he just stood there and sang. Like, here I am.
That's right.
It's just me and my voice.
That's right.
These glasses. I said he made sweet, sweet love to that song.
Yes.
I mean, that's the only other way I can describe it. And again, I'm not trying to be crude or disrespectful. I said the nuance when he said on the lyric "Heart Can Stand." Like, did you hear what he did out of the "Heart Can Stand"? It's like, yeah. Like, yes. It was little nuances. I said, Mac is one of those singers that had me and Stephanie at the first note. Halfway through the first note. He didn't even get through Gravity.
No.
And I'd been like, I said, I loved that Mac pulled us in. It was such a simplistic performance when he stood there and sang. And sometimes people's voices are that special and that good that all they have to do is just stand there and sing.
That's right. That's right.
I said it really was top level artistry and singing. I said he is my new front runner. I said, wow. And when I went back and I listened, I listened to you 5 more times this morning. Because it's only 1 minute and 33 seconds, you all.
I know.
30 is all they have. And I said, who does he remind me of? And I'm just like, wow. I said, I hear some Bobby Womack in his voice. If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight, girl. I hear, and Bobby Womack, a lot of people don't know who Bobby Womack is. Bobby Womack was a songwriter, session, but Bobby Womack was one of the greatest soul singers of all time. Check him out.
Oh.
Lonely now, wait until tonight, girl. Like, don't you hear it like a young Bobby? Because Bobby was he was that type of singer, right?
I hear it now.
Sessioned with James Brown, like he was huge. I said,
yeah, I hear it
Bobby
now.
Has that 70s soul, take your time with it vibe. Where nothing's rushed, everything is nuanced. So I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see the song choices Mac brings, and I hope he explores some of those 70s songs. Those soul songs, but like the Delphonics and the Shy Lights and the groups like that. I want to hear Donny Hathaway. I want to hear him sing that really, really soulful Detroit, Philly, all those city sounds.
Yes.
I said, and this is where I'm about to make you faint.
Oh, God.
And this is giving a little bit away, but I'm not giving too much away. I said, Stephanie, I'm going to die because I have a feeling we might get this. I said, I am going to die if Ruby Lee and Mac get paired for the battles. I said, I won't be. Stephanie, I won't be able to take it. I won't be able, not because I don't think either of them would move on, because both of them would move on, but imagine. Stephanie, I told you, I said, she's not going to be able to take this. She's not going to be able to take what I'm about to say, because I saw it in my head. I saw it, Stephanie.
Listen. Yeah, I'm listening. I have only heard these folks one time. Okay? This makes me emotional. If they they pair these two together, it's going to be
Way too much.
It has the potential to be as epic as D Smooth and Allie. Oh my word. And they better both go through. Don't do this and don't let them execute and don't put them both through. They both got to go. Oh, do it. Do it.
Battle the two top singers. Battle them. But see, the thing is, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna let it out the bag. Reba might not battle them because Reba knows that she has two of the strongest singers of the season on
You're
her.
right.
Reba's bench is so deep with just these two singers. Battle them. Supernova against supernova. Totally different genres, but you can find the song. Stephanie, we gotta marinate on this for a bit. Because we can think, I know, Stephanie, if you and I put our minds together, we can think of a song that they battle. But a minute to marinate, because that's the most special thing we've ever heard on this show. Ever. It's going to be the greatest battle of this show. So, Reba, I hope you watch. Well, it's already done, so. But I really, really hope and pray I need these two to battle.
Yeah.
I need it because I don't know what, because I heard a little country in Mac.
He's from Arkansas. Of course you did.
I heard a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you battle those two,
Woo.
I will have died and gone to heaven.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then I said as a joke, I said, KC from Jodeci, get off the stage. Mac, you look, has anyone ever told you look just like KC? And that's a compliment.
Yes.
See, you already had a career. Get off that stage. Boy, you've already sold millions of records.
All my life. Oh, yeah.
All right. That's enough. I could go on and on about Mac, but I said, that popped in my head last night. I said, battle Ruby Lee and Mac. Battle them. Because people will lose
it. People is Stephanie. Stephanie will lose it.
I'm not going to tell Stephanie this. She's going to lose it.
Lose it. So I don't have much to add. I have ad-libs all throughout James speaking. Smooth voice. God, he put some gospel runs up in Gravity. And this is why I was worshiping. This is the joy of music for me. This is when I know music is good to me, is that, I mean, even if it's not Christian music, even if it's not gospel music, even if it is secular music, good singing is good singing. Good singing is good singing. And it just puts me in a place of just like, woo, because, I believe that when you are gifted with an amazing singing voice, that is a gift straight from God. And it is just it does something to my spirit to see that on display at such an expertise level with such ease and such joy and such intentionality about what is being sung and such feeling and such power. It just puts me in a place of worship. So I'm just like, like, he had power in his voice. He had a beautiful falsetto. That band was happy. That band was so happy. And it was just...
the opening guitar, I was like...
Oh!
And
I loved it.
The thing was that Jamar played those guitar riffs last year. That was even more scary.
That's right. Brother
just stood there and sang the song down. Torched the stage. Torched it.
Torch.
It was only his voice, right? He wasn't.
That's right.
He wasn't running all around. Not saying there's anything wrong with it, but he torched the stage with just.
That's right.
Yeah, Mac's my front runner. He really is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Woo. Okay. So, and obviously, like I said earlier, brilliant coach's choice to go with Reba McEntire, because everyone already knows that John has lost some of his best singers because his team has been so stacked.
Mm-hmm.
That Mac won't be there. I don't want somebody else to have to make it because I know Mac's going through.
That's right.
I'm also afraid that John might steal Mac if Ruby and Mac battle.
Right.
But I got to see it. I'm so selfish. Stephanie and I got to see the battle. So I hope we can see it, but we'll see.
And I love the story behind why he picked Reba.
Yeah.
that him and his grandmom used to watch the Reba show. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
School eating his tater tots. I got home from school, and my grandma and me used to watch a lot of shows, and we watched Reba.
I love it. I loved it. Absolutely.
Okay, so who is next?
Next up was Noah Spencer, 20 years old, from Richlands, Virginia, and he sang Something in the Orange by Zach Bryan.
Shout out to the Appalachian Mountains, which my parents are from. That's where my kids from, Noah. My kids from the Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia, baby.
Come on.
Shout out to them. And I love that he in his B-side, he elevated to talk about where he came from, right?
That's right. That's right.
I say incredible alternative voice.
Mm-hmm.
He has this interesting, and the word I use is tremble to his voice. Because it wasn't just rough. I said, and this might be a little oxymoronic, I said, but it was rough, but smooth and endearing.
Mm-hmm.
I just was like, yo,
mm-hmm.
like, how can you be rough and smooth? And endearing, but
yes,
that kind of almost tremble to his sound, like
mm-hmm.
Little shaky, but not, right?
Right.
Very individual sound. I said, but I'm also interested in Noah because Noah, I think we can get finally the country, bluegrass, R&B. How does it feel out of you, Noah? I really do. I think you can give that to us because I'm interested to see, Stephanie, if he's going to keep the gravel in his
mm-hmm.
voice through the entire season. I said, I hope so. I hope that this is really, because he's pretty young. He's 20, and for a male singer, that's still very young.
Yes.
I hope this isn't a manufactured sound, that this is actually his sound. But I think coming from Appalachian Mountains of Virginia, I think this might be his sound.
Yeah.
I hope so, because that'll show me that he's authentic. Like this is authentically Noah. I'd love to hear him as to kind of referencing the How Does It Feel bluegrass. D'Angelo, How Does It Feel, or Untitled. I'd love to hear Noah on other genres. Because I think it's going to be scary, like to hear him sing other genres of music.
Right.
Said, this young man has the potential. He reminds me of a young Chris Stapleton. He reminds me of that. Chris Stapleton. Like I hear it. I hear the soul in his voice. I hear the gravel. I hear the country. I hear the bluegrass. I hear the blues. I hear it all in his voice. And he's funny. Yeah.
I heard that as well. Like you said, he's got the rock. He's got that gravel. He's got that ache in his voice. He's got a bit of storyteller in there. He has this really cool. It reminded me of a 90s rock voice.
Yeah.
The song, I was like, there is a song that comes to mind when I hear his voice. And I was like, what is it? And I found it. I don't know if you know the song. It's called Hemorrhage by Fuel. Leave love bleeding in my hands again. It was this really popular 90s rock song. And that's what I heard when I heard his voice. I was like, this is Fuel. You sound like the lead singer from Fuel. What I loved about his voice, though, is that there was peaks of this soft, whispery kind of tone at some of the end of his lines. And that really piqued my interest. I was like, ooh. And I think that that's where we felt some of that emotion and some of that softer side and some of that authenticity and genuineness in those whispery, soft parts of his voice, which I really, really love. So like you said, song choice is going to be really interesting for Noah, because I could see, like you're saying, that he could sing a wide range of things. Like he might not just stick to rock or to country. He might do something a little alternative pop, or maybe a little twist on an R&B song, which, we are always here for. So
we love the versatility in Noah's voice. But here's the thing. There's no and. If he brings us some Black Hole Sun, if he brings us some Take Me Higher by Creed, it's going to slaughter those songs. So if I hear, I need some Black Hole Sun or Soundgarden. I need some Black Hole Sun in my life, because I've heard it done on shows, but I need a voice like his to do it, or I need some Creed, him to sing Creed, because I think he would do Scott pretty pretty proud
Yes.
if he did some Cree. Yeah.
Can you take me higher?
Oh, he would wail on that. Yeah, wail.
And please show the band. Please show the band when they do the song, because I want to see the electric guitarist going off on that song. Absolutely.
All right. So who did Noah go with?
Noah went with Team Niall.
Smart choice, because I'm trying to think, did Niall really have any rockers last season?
I don't remember.
Not that I can remember that went deep in the competition.
Right.
I think that was very strategic for him to pick Noah. For Noah to pick Niall as well.
That's right.
Good choice, Noah. Good choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think Niall's going to bring that song literature that Noah probably already has, but
right.
He's going to give him songs, great songs.
Right. Yeah. Right.
All right. Awesome. Who is next?
So I will say that our next two artists were kind of like quick clips. That's what I like to call them. We didn't see like a full performance. We saw just enough to get a feel and to see which coach they went with, which, spoiler, they both went with the same coach. So the first up was Tom Nitti, 31 years old, from New Hartford, New York. And he sang Signed, Sealed, Delivered, I'm Yours by the Stevie Wonder.
Love it. I said with him, I love what I heard of it. I said, nice belt. I said, nice holler falsetto, because he hollered.
Listen, he was holleration.
But I also heard something that is an old pro. You remember when he slid up like he did one of those, and I could tell he didn't have it, but he knew how to cover it. He chose alternative notes because he didn't slide up all the way to the top. Yeah, I think he maybe sung a little too hard. And sometimes happens when you get excited, but he did a nice cover of it. And I was like, oh, he's a pro, Mr. Thompson.
Right.
Pro.
Right.
I didn't hear, it's interesting how John said he heard the country take on Signed, Sealed, Delivered. I didn't hear so much country. I heard more pop soul in his voice than country, but that's just my ears. That's just very, what's your take on that?
I heard the country aspect of it at the end of at the very end of it. I said, oh, I can hear it now. I didn't hear it initially, but I did hear it at the end. The interesting thing about Tom is that I think Tom has a stellar voice. I don't think that he displayed all that he could do vocally last night, all the way through the performance. There were some brilliant, brilliant moments. I felt like Tom performed this song from what we saw. Again, we did not see the full and entire. We saw enough to give us an idea. I felt like Tom sang this like a wedding singer. It was a lot of performance. Yeah. It was a lot of interaction. It was some talking in between, like not talking, but like some sing-songy kind of talking type stuff. But again, there was some really cool melodic choices that he made. The last run that he did was absolutely brilliant. And that is what Reba made. That's what made Reba turn for him. And that's where I heard some of that country tone as well. So I'm really excited to see what Tom's going to do next, because I do think that he has a very, very strong voice.
And One Chair Terms have historically done very well on this show.
That's right.
Because Reba was the only person that, only coach that turned for Tom.
Right.
So I'm interested to see what Tom's going to do in the battles and the knockouts. I think he will make it through, because he's very strong.
Yes.
So who was our other real short clip?
Yes. And I'm going to apologize now, Alison, because we did not get to hear your last name and it's a little bit tricky. So I'm going to try my best to say it, and then I will be corrected later on in the competition. The next was Alison Albrecht, 23 years old, from Novi, Michigan. And she sang Ironic by Alanis Morissette.
Don't you think?
Don't you?
A little too. Now, here's the interesting thing. I did not catch it last night. I guess I was fast forwarding through commercials and I may have missed it because it was so short. But I got a chance to watch it this morning. And this is where I heard a country take on Ironic.
Uh-oh.
I loved it.
Country Ironic.
The very short snippet of what she sang, I heard a little twang in her voice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I heard it a little bit. And I loved it. I loved it. Yeah. I can't wait to see what she's going to do.
Exactly.
that was great. That was great.
It was. It was great enough for Miss Reba to turn.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So who do we have next? So Reba's building a bench, y'all.
Yes, she is.
Right when Blake left off, she's building a bench.
That's right. Next up was Talakai, 34 years old, from Sacramento, California, and he sang "Stay With Me" by Sam Smith.
First, I love Talakai's story.
Come on.
This story where he was like, yeah, I was hanging out with my friend and my home life was a mess. And my friend's mom was like, well, you know what? You're going to come stay with us forever.
Come on.
And she adopted him, and it was
Yes.
a beautiful, beautiful backstory.
Yes.
It's so hard, Talakai, because I'm sure you've seen it, as a lot of people have, because it's going viral. I think it's hard to hear this song after what was released this past weekend in the masterpiece called Tiny Desk. Sam Smith did a Tiny Desk this past weekend that was released on Friday, and Stephanie and I have been obsessed with it ever since. But we're not talking about that. But we've been obsessed. And to hear, but what I did appreciate from you, Talakai, is that you took a completely different approach to that song. And I want you, Talakai, because you have a very, very nice voice. You have a beautiful tone. I want you to watch your phrasing on a song like this. Go and listen to Sam Smith, which honestly, obviously this is his song, but listen to how he phrases it. Because I did not get the emotional connection that I get from when I want to hear this song. I'm not saying to do a copycat karaoke Sam Smith performance. That is not it by any means, because you have a very unique voice. Because here's the thing, Talakai, your voice sits higher than Sam's.
Yes.
So the parts where Sam would go up and flip into his head voice, you just sang right through it. But I want you to, with that, it didn't hit like, to me, that song's supposed to hit because of phrasing. So really, really pay attention to your phrasing. Why am I so emotional? I need to feel your emotion when you sing a line like, why am I so emotional? I think song choice is going to be critical for you, because I have a feeling, I personally think that this song may have been a little low for your voice. You are a true tenor, which I love, a true strong tenor. So I think going forward, I'm really glad you made it through, because going forward, I think hopefully you pick and are going to pick songs that really display your upper range, because I thought your upper range was fire. And you just sang right through it, where singers like Sam and me, we would like have to flip, do the differentiation between the chest and head, which actually works on this song. So so I'm really glad. I can't wait to see what Talakai does next. I'm really glad he did make it through. Stephanie?
Yeah, it was so hard to give a fair assessment of the song when the Tiny Desk has been embedded into my soul for the last few days. But hearing it a couple times through, it was so interesting because it felt like the entire song was like pitch shifted up to match his tenor vocal. He has a really, really pretty voice, like a beautiful voice. And it was hard with this song. It's all going to be about song selection for me for Talakai, because this song is just hard for me to hear it a different way. I'm just used to that. And I think the heaviness of the lyrics of the song lends itself to a more deep vocal. So it was difficult hearing a higher version of it. But on its face, Talakai has a beautiful instrument, and I can't wait to hear what he does next. And I can't wait to hear what his coach is going to give him for song choice. In my head, I was like, who do I hear singing this? Like, who sounds like him, or who does he sound like? And to me, it was like as if DeBarge was singing this song. Like that's the voice that I had. Yeah, like El DeBarge was singing this song.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's the thing, Talakai. That song is about love that you can't have. Unrequited love, like love that's not reciprocated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was what in the loneliest hour, in the darkest hour, whatever the name of his Sam Smith's freshman offering was. And that's where you need to go with that song. Like you said, that heaviness, Stephanie. I wanted more heaviness. Why am I so emotional? And a little more so. Like, I need that. I need like a...
You want to cry. Like, you almost want to be depressed.
That.
Because even the kick was higher. Even the kick was pitched up higher. Yeah.
It was, and I think that's what we were hoping for. And I have the feeling that he's gonna pick a song going forward that's gonna really showcase the upper extension of his voice. I can't wait.
Me too.
Who did Talakai, or AKA John Legend, doppelganger? Who did he go with?
He went with his doppelganger. Absolutely.
It was kind of scary. He did look like him.
Legit. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Great pickup. Another great pickup, John.
Yes.
And Talakai, remember, you are on John Legend's team, bruh. Fight.
Yeah.
To stand out, because you can make a really strong run on this show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay, so who is our last contestant of the evening?
Last up was Rudi. Rudi is 28 years old from San Antonio, Texas. And she sang You Don't Own Me by Leslie Gore.
Oh, Rudi. I love it when people take these, and it's interesting. Like when you think of standards, like jazz standards, like My Funny Valentine, some wonderful, all those old like big band songs, like now standards, like because we're moving so far out of those, like those songs are becoming almost like 80, 90, 100 years old. We're moving into standards becoming like 1960s standards. So You Don't Own Me is one of those songs that was written with a great melody, and you can do a lot with it, but you got to always be like human nature, and you always got to be respectful of the original melody because it's so known.
Yeah.
And I said, Rudi came to battle.
Oh, yes, she did.
A fighter.
Yes.
By that, I said in all the best ways. I said, first of all, she reminded me of just her whole presence reminded me of Selena. Like, it just reminded me of Selena, and not because she's Mexican American or from like the same place, like San Antonio, or the same area that Selena's from. It's just her whole vibe, the voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, but it was like Selena 2.0, 3.0. I said, I love her play on the melody. I said, I thought she had great runs. I thought it was effortless singing. This girl can sing anything. Everyone needs to be scared of a voice like this, because it's a voice on this show, because she's already a performer. It's a voice on this show that she is going to attack every song that is thrown at her. And so everyone needs to step up their game, because Rudi is scary. The vocal is like, it's like Christina Aguilera scary. I said, you know what I also heard in her voice? And when she wasn't running, I heard a little Gwen Stefani in her voice. Yo, she has a really funky tone in some of these notes. But then I heard a little Jasmine Sullivan in her runs. Not the tone, but more the runs. I said she has a very now sound. That's another thing. It is a very current, a very today sound. She's another one where, like, I cannot wait to hear more of what she's going to do, because I think she is going to slaughter any song that is put before her.
Absolutely.
She's a scary one to really, really take note of and to look out for in this competition. Stephanie?
Absolutely. She is the entire package.
Everything.
She is the total package. She ran this song down.
Yeah.
And that can go really well, or that can go not so well. She executed so precisely that it was stunning. Yeah. Like, I was waiting for her to miss, and she did not miss. And like you were saying, I heard some Christina Aguilera in there, because Christina, she's got that same grit and gravel kind of in her voice, and especially in the runs that she was doing as Christina. But she also has a current sound like a Tori Kelly, who's also likes to run and does it in an expert level way. So those were the things that she reminded me of. I I love her sweet family. I love her story. I love her
Oh,
personality.
when Dad broke down, I was done.
Oh yeah, I think America is going to fall in love with her. And like you said, she's a fighter. You could see, like when she stood on that stage, I was like, oh, we about to get it. Because it is so cool to see people take this opportunity seriously and be like, this is my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Yes, Hamilton. I am not throwing away my shot. Like, and she did not throw away her shot. And it was
She grabbed us by the collar.
She did. I was like, ooh, what twist is she gonna do next? Like, what's she gonna do next? And it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I can't wait to see her in the next round.
I can't remember. Who did she pick?
She picked Coach Gwen.
Smart. Because I think Gwen is going to really tap into the individuality that she brings, of who, like, Gwen's really going to figure out, like help her figure out, what type of artist do you want to be? Because, girl, you got the voice that you can go anywhere with it.
Anywhere.
And I'm glad she picked Gwen. That's crazy. I wrote it down before she picked Gwen to say, I heard some Gwen Stefani in her voice.
Yeah.
Just that really funky, different tone.
Yes.
It was awesome.
Yes.
Stephanie, what a night. One of the strongest pound for pound nights of especially one of the 2-hour episodes that we've heard in a long time.
Yeah.
There really, really was some excellent singing and excellent performances.
Yes.
Already. And I don't think that I can't speak for Stephanie, but I know I haven't been this excited as early in the season in a minute. This was good. What's your thoughts, Stephanie?
For 2 hours of a show, of a singing competition, I always feel like I'm going to be underwhelmed because there's no way you can fill 2 hours with such great singing. Highs and lows. Last night was so many highs. And like you said, more 4-chair turns than I've seen. And there were 2 blocks. Tons of 3 and 2 blocks. John blocked Niall one time and Niall blocked John one time. Like that alone shows you how strong the singing and the performing was in this episode. So I was thrilled. I was thrilled with last night's episode.
I mean, we're just 3 nights in. And Stephanie, I can already see everyone that the battles are going to be insanity.
Ooh.
Insanity. Like artistically and performance-wise. It's just going to be nuts.
Can't wait.
All right, Stephanie. So I know we've got another episode tonight and I hope if it's anything like last night's performance, we can't wait. So tell everyone what they need to hear.
All right. So don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Pitchy Podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you can be the first to know when we drop a new episode. And check us out on YouTube. Search for The Pitchy Podcast and hit that subscribe button so you know when we drop a new video. And last, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at The Pitchy Podcast for new episode alerts, episode clips, and so much more.
All right. So we'll see you all tomorrow with Tuesday night's take on another round of the blinds.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.